when my good friend Rigathi, who I have served with him in cabinet, you know, when he says, when he praises GNC, he's the same guy who brought the goons who wanted to ban Parliament, who wanted to ban the Supreme Court, who wanted to ban Harambee House. Those three buildings are the center and the epitome and the symbol of the three arms of government.
Who brought the goons?
Rigathi brought the goons.
Really?
Really?
How do you know that?
I was a Minister of Defense. I have the intelligence.
Very good. So you are Minister of Defense. You sat in the National Security Council, right? Which consumes the highest level of intelligence in this country.
Yes.
True? And the other members are the President, the Deputy President.
No, let me even give you. The President, the Deputy President,
yes,
the Minister for Defense, number 3,
Interior.
Minister for Interior, National Intelligence Service, DG, the CDF,
yes,
the Police,
yes,
IG, the Attorney General,
and the Foreign Affairs.
And the Foreign Affairs.
You 9.
And sometimes co-opted the Minister for Finance.
You 9 and sometimes 10 consume this high level of intelligence.
Yes.
And you're the ones who consume this information. So one of you was involved in what you're saying.
Yes.
One of you.
Yes.
In the National Security Council.
Yes.
Was involved in this.
No.
Rigathi
Yes. With his cohort in bringing the goons and infiltrating the genuine GNCs.
Is this why the President rose and spoke to the nation and said that there was an attempt at treason?
Absolutely.
This is with that information.
Let me tell you, and I need to tell the country, because that's my nature. Why? Yes. No. You know, truthful man is subjective. It's a very subjective. You know, Rigathi calls himself the truthful man when he's the opposite. But let me tell you, why do you think the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, who sits in the National Security Council, goes to Mombasa and disparage and attack the rank and the leadership of the National Intelligence Service? It has never happened since independence. Because he knew the National Intelligence Service had a report on his involvement on the 25th of June, 2024.
Be that as it may, Waziri.
No, I'm telling you.
The question.
No, I'm telling you.
We've heard you.
Yeah.
The questions that the people of this.
I sit in. I sit. When you sit in National Security Council, like cabinet, those are very privileged. In fact, I tell colleagues that for you to become a cabinet secretary, out of the 55 and 57 million Kenyans, you're privileged. So when you sit in cabinet and when you sit in the National Security Council, you have a position of privilege, and you enjoy and you receive and consume high-level intelligence.
And you must therefore be responsible.
And you must be responsible, and you must show leadership.
And there's an oath of office that you have.
Yes.
Taken. There's an oath of office that the President has taken to protect the Constitution. Treason is an act of overthrowing the Constitution. You have information, as you claim, the President came out and told the country that there was a treasonous plot, right? Any responsible, self-respecting leadership would then follow this up with using constitutional means to bring accountability on this. It's been 8 months. 8 months, Waziri. Not a single person has been taken to court and charged with treason. High crime, very high crime, that is a threat to the democracy and the democratic principles of this country. So whoever it is, even if it's Eric Latif, why have you not brought anybody to account for treason, if indeed there was treason?
Absolutely. The events of June 25th, 2024, in my capacity then, as the Minister for Defense then, what Rigathi and cohorts wanted to do And I think we were not sure, but for the 2 years that he served in that government, he was a destabilizing factor. There are many things that later we realized he was not, as per the constitutional provision, as the principal assistant to the president.
That's not the question.
No, I'm coming to your question. And I told you, Latif, you know me, I answer questions. I don't dodge questions. There are many people who are under investigation by the DCI. You know them. Sitting members of parliament, who their phone records, and these members of parliament are all the allies of Rigathi. Their phone records, their movements, the money trail, the week before the 25th, the day of 25th, is under investigation. The DCI is doing that. It will come out.
They haven't completed investigations.
Yeah. 2, what culminated into the impeachment of Rigathi? The moment the second in command is involved in treasonable activities in the change of a democratically elected government, second in principle, not a cabinet secretary, not any ordinary Kenyan. That's why Parliament, in its wisdom, and the President and all of us felt, then we must save the nation.
This is political hyperbole.
Treason is criminal, not
you did not take that charge.
Or elective.
You did not take that charge to Parliament. The question I'm asking, and we have seen the capacity of our national security services, when there was an attack in Garissa, when there was an attack on Dusit, when there was an attack at Westgate, barely 48 hours, and all this had been pieced together, and people were arrested. And shortly, people would be taken to court on the account on charges of terrorism. You're telling us that the same national security services, 8 months later, even despite knowing that there's treasonous plot to overthrow the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, do not have anything that they can thread together and take to court.
No. Latif, investigation of that nature. The people of Dusit are yet even to be charged. The ones of Westgate were charged how many years later? The ones of Garissa University were charged after how many years? 4 or 5 years.
How long?
No, let me finish.
They were
And those
arrested
let me
and
finish.
taken to court
Let me finish.
soon after.
Let me finish.
Cases took long.
Let me finish.
But
you know,
prosecution
I
began soon
have
after.
listened to you. How many cases, even corruption cases, investigations take place? Investigators, whether they are from EACC, from DCI, they must have solid evidence to prove that Latif has done this and this and this for the prosecutor and to convince the judge. So you wait, don't rush. Don't rush.
So until then, you have nothing to substantiate your claim.
I am not the DCI, but I can tell you, as a former minister who was in charge, who deployed KDF, KDF was deployed within the provision of the Constitution. As a former minister and as a former member of the National Security Council, I have asked you a very important question. Very important question. It has never happened in the history of Kenya that a member of the National Security Council, or even an ordinary citizen, one of the most respectable institutions worldwide, even in the US, is the institution, the rank and the file and the family of the intelligence. Because they are emboldened. They are concerned with the security of the nation, both internally and externally. Why are you not asking why Mr. Rigathi, my former boss, why is he obsessed with the National Intelligence Service and its leadership? It's because he knows what he was planning to do on the 25th of June and the kind of brief his boss was given.
If Rigathi was here, we'd ask him, But
No,
you're
no, but,
here. You're here.
no,
you're
no, no,
saying
no.
you
But-
have
but,
intelligence to the fact that he was involved in planning treason.
Please bring Rigathi here.
Why haven't we acted on it?
You know, bring Rigathi here. You know the problem with the...
Waziri, we don't need to bring Rigathi.
No, no,
we
no.
do not
You
want
know-
to have Rigathi
you know,
here to answer to us.
Latif, I mean, let me
There's
tell
a
you.
law in this place.
Rigathi was in a
You
show.
break the law, you answer to the law.
Absolutely.
Right.
Anybody who participated in, because what you're saying is that our young men and women, our children went to the streets, but there's somebody who was playing a plot to go and hoodwink our children to go onto the streets for their own selfish gains. Anybody who did that deserves to answer. Whoever it is.
And that is
whether
why...
it's, I said, whether it's Eric Latif, Aden Duale,
And that is why...
or Rigi,
And that is
whoever it is,
that is why
has this responsible government
that is
of
why
Kenya
you don't
not
want to
taken
listen.
anyone to court?
That is why you don't want to listen. That's why I told you there are members of parliament and others within the circle of the former deputy president who are under investigation. How long the investigation will take? I don't sit anymore in the National Security Council. And the DCI can explain that.
Yeah.
But for record, and I watched Rigathi the other night on a similar sister television. I mean, the way you, I like the way you ask questions. Some of the allegations that he was making. I think that anchor who was interviewing him should have asked him hard questions, even me, which I wanted to know as a minister, that Rigathi was saying. But I can tell you, as a former minister, there was a regime change on the 25th of August. Rigathi and cohorts infiltrated the genuine young Kenyans who had genuine concern. They had genuine concern. The president addressed them by even dropping the finance bill. But hooligans, people who have been given drugs and changa, infiltrated the people who invaded parliament, who discredited the mausoleum of Mzee Kenyatta, who went and destroyed the highest office of the institution of the judiciary, the office of the Chief Justice. That is not a normal demonstration.
You were saying that they're genuine Kenyans who are genuine concerns. Something that all over, many of them were abducted, many of them were killed. Who abducted them, and why was there orders to kill them?
No, I think the issue of abduction and the issue of extrajudicial killing was put in our manifesto. That when we take over government as Kenya Kwanza, as UDA, we will bring an end to the culture of extrajudicial killing, that space, including abduction. Okay? Why did we put it there? Because the past administration, in which some of us served, in its last days, committed serious extrajudicial killing. Me speaking here, I am a victim. The people of North are victim of extrajudicial killing under the pretext of the war against terror. Many people were killed in the coast region. Many people were killed in northeastern, in Nairobi, in Majengo. And it's not the policy of this government to do extrajudicial killing. It's not. The president has been very firm and categorical. Not twice, and not once, not twice, not thrice. And he says, if there is any Kenyan who has lost one of his own, please go to the DCI, report it, and I need that file.
But people were abducted.
No, let me finish.
Okay.
Up to today, nobody has gone there.
To the DCI?
The DCI.
Yes.
People have gone
People
to
have
the
gone
DCI.
several
Please bring the
Written
DCI here.
OBs. You're saying no one has been abducted, or
No.
they haven't
No,
reported
The
I'm saying-
the KNCHR report
I'm saying.
gives all of this data in terms of
Absolutely,
abductions, extrajudicial killing,
Absolutely.
and the family's attempts to go to the police to seek any reprieve on where their people are. But that hasn't come to light.
I sympathize with the many Kenyan families who said their loved ones have been abducted, they have been killed. I sympathize as a minister. It should not happen in the modern Kenya of today. And anybody in this government who is doing it, he is doing it in his individual capacity. As a cabinet, as a cabinet minister, I'm not a security sector. As a cabinet minister, I will not condone, and the president will not condone, abduction and extrajudicial killing.
Justin Muturi said he made a call to the president after his son was abducted, and then he spoke to the president, who made a call to the NIS boss, and his son was released shortly after. Many other abductees say they were taken to police station Y, police station X, and then you abandoned somewhere along the side of the road. Those are state bodies. When you talk about the National Intelligence Service, when you talk about a police station, those are state bodies. So I can't act in an individual capacity and take you to a government institution or to a police station or to the National Intelligence Service or to the DCI. Macharia Gaido was arrested from a police station, taken around, brought back to a police station.
No, I think Macharia Gaido was, he's a good friend of mine. I read his articles. He's a wonderful guy. It was one of the incidents that I was very much disturbed. I called him and my sympathies. It was a mistaken identity. I think they were looking for another Gaido. And the police have the right, even after I leave this station, if I say something which is contrary to the law, they arrest me, but they have the right. I mean, my right is to take me to a designated police station.
He was taken from.
I'm saying,
a police station.
even if I'm picked from the street, even from a restaurant,
you should be taken.
I should be taken to a registered designated police station where I can access my lawyer, I can access my family, and then within 24 hours, I must be taken to.
Justin Muturi says the president called Nurdin Haji and his son was released thereafter.
I think, I don't want to go into my colleague's assertion. I mean, my colleague sits in cabinet. He's very privileged. Every time we finish cabinet, the next thing that the president who chairs says is, anybody with any other matter, AOB? And a number of us say this. Sometimes, and I'll give a good example. Last cabinet, the one before last cabinet, we raised the issue Kenyans are going through when they come to our airports. We said, Mr. President, I think as a cabinet we must discuss. And I think action has been taken. I'm saying our friend and my former boss, Speaker Muturi, unlike other citizens, including you, he has an opportunity to, when we go to cabinet, he can raise that matter in cabinet, and the Minister for Interior sits, the Minister for Defense sits, members of, half of the members of the National Security Council sits, and we discuss that. That's how leadership is all about.
But the problem here is state involvement.
But I want to say that, no. I'm saying I abhor abduction. And many Kenyans have come out to say they are victims of abductions. Some have lost. It should not happen in this era. It should not happen under this administration. And it's a matter that we have discussed, but the president, as the head, and all of us, it's in our manifesto. We said we must end extrajudicial killing. So if there are people in government, who are doing abductions, who are doing extrajudicial killing, then they ought not to be in this government.
My brother, I don't understand what you're saying.
Because you want me to understand different narrative.
No, because I think we're asking.
It's because of what you.
It's what you're.
It's how you're putting it.
And I'm not the Minister for Interior, so.
You're not. But you sit in cabinet.
And
you have been a member of the National Security Council.
And you sat.
And you sat there and you consumed information. For example, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has a record of 62 people who died since June 25th.
What is the record of the National Police Service? Why is selective?
What do the police have?
No, it's you to tell me, because
I don't know what the police
you have done research. You should.
So KNCHR gets figures from police.
No. You should.
I do not know the figure.
No. If you are fair,
I will be honest. I do not know the figure.
If you are fair, you should get. You should get Kenya National Human Rights Commission. You should get from IPOA. you should get from the National Police Service.
If the government is speaking it from three different parts of its mouth, that's its problem.
No.
I look at a constitutional commission that is charged with looking at human rights.
The National Police Service.
They have a record, and they have a record from mortuaries. Let me finish my question.
But you have used the word constitutional commission.
Yes.
The National Police Service is a constitutional commission. IPOA is a constitutional commission.
Yes.
So leave government.
When I pick one,
leave government. The IG is independent. Can you get us the figures from all those institutions?
The National Commission on Human Rights has a number of people who have disappeared, abducted persons since last year, 85 of them. Yesterday, there's a lady who sat where you are seated, and she's the mother of a young man who disappeared at
June 25th.
Imenti House here on Moy Avenue on the 25th of June. He worked in the matatu industry. He was a conductor in the matatu industry. His name is Junior. Since then, this woman has told us she has gone to police stations. They have reported to the police, Kasarani police station, that's in their neighborhood. She has reported to Central police station. She has even been told, go and check at industrial area. The last we heard, he was there. They've gone to industrial area remand prison.
They're not there.
Not there. Okay? From what she knows, she has reported to the police. You said some of these people are not reporting to the police. She has. We spoke to a sister, to one of the missing Mlolongo 4, who said, we have gone to the police in Mlolongo, we have reported. We have gone to DCI headquarters, and we've recorded a statement. We have not heard anything since then. Now, it may not be the policy of this government to abduct people or to disappear people or to do extrajudicial killings, but they are happening. There are unanswered questions on people disappearing, people turning up dead in mortuaries.
Ask me the question.
The responsibility lies on the government to answer the question.
Ask me the question.
Who is abducting our
Ask
people?
Me the question.
Waziri Aden Duale, who is abducting Kenyans?
Ask me the question.
The question.
That's a question.
Yeah.
Question.
Then leave it the
Question,
answer.
colon. Aden Duale, Waziri, who is abducting Kenyans? Question mark.
Let me first start with the lady who sat here where I'm sitting. I really sympathize with her. I am a parent. I really want to sympathize with all the parents who lost or who their children were abducted. Some they found, some are missing. I mean, I morally, religiously, constitution-wise, it is wrong. Whoever is in charge is wrong. And whoever is doing it, he'll pay for it. I mean, if not here, one time. Secondly, I'll ask her to go now. She has gone to police stations. If somebody disappears today, even in the street outside Nation Center, the first place you'll go to is the police station. The next place is the city mortuary.
Yes.
Okay? The third place is
hospitals.
The hospital. The fourth place is the prisons. Now, all those she couldn't find her loved one. Now she can go to the institutions created by the Constitution. The National Police Service, the DCI. Because the DCI is not like the police station. He will carry an investigation. He's now carrying an investigation of a Briton who came for business, stayed in JW Marriott, went with somebody to Pipeline. From there, his body was found in Makueni.
In Wote.
Yeah, in Wote. He's now investigating it. So there are many Kenyans who disappear even as we sit here, in one way or the other. Maybe because of the gangs have abducted them, maybe social family life, many people. But on making adoption a policy, a government policy, speaking for the government of President William Ruto, there's no government policy on abduction and extrajudicial killing. And it negates what is in our manifesto, if you look at it.
Does it speak of incapacity of our National Police Service, under which the DCI is nestled, to investigate this? Because there are many people who are still missing, Waziri. There are many people who have turned up dead. all of them, a majority of them, people have gone to the police,
in fact,
to the DCI,
I agree,
and reported.
Yes.
And when the DCI is not able to say what happened at all, what does that say about the capacity of our National Police Service? How do we fix our National Police Service?
Now, you're taking me to another very unfamiliar territory. If I was a Minister for Interior, the way I discussed with you, the people who gave land to the land that belongs to the forest, what I can do. But I agree with you. Every public officer, starting with the president, the Constitution has given him a mandate. There are people who their work is to make sure they keep the citizens safe and their property. And this abduction, this extrajudicial killing is becoming a norm in our country. Not only in this administration, but even successive administration. You are aware of River Yala.
Yes.
You are aware of Tana River.
Yes.
You are aware of many.
Yes.
It happened during President Kibaki's time.
Yes.
It happened during President Kenyatta's time. That's why President Ruto put it in his manifesto. He must bring it to an end. And he must bring to an end by dealing with the people who are custodian of law and order. You know, if you have been given the role to keep the citizens safe, your work is to deal with terrorists and criminals. And that's why I told you, when the Gen Zs came to the streets with their iPhones and everything, they had a good message. They had very good governance message to the nation. But when the other goons came in, I mean, I've been in Parliament for 20 years. We used to receive petitions from Kenyans, you know, on different issues. They used to demonstrate, come to the gate, they come to the Nation Center, they present, they go to the office of the president. But never have we seen people who want to ban Parliament, the House of the People's Representative. People want to ban the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice. And that's why KDF came in hand, using the provision in law to make sure that the democratically elected institutions are saved.
We need to leave it there. I think there's something to consider about the fact that there is still, even after this conversation, there's still general distrust. I don't know what miracles and mountains will be moved in order for the people of Kenya to truly feel like they can trust a government that doesn't seem to be on their side. And you've come and you've spoken. You have a right to do that. But I think Kenyans also have a right to be validated in how much fear that they live in and how much confusion. You talked about the cost of living and inflation. People are struggling to make ends meet. You talked about the fact that there's a certain docket that deals with disappearances. People are missing their sons from their protest. Women are dying a lot because of femicide. The country isn't safe. The country isn't really conducive for Kenyans to thrive. And I think it's important to validate that.
Crime.
Even
in the US, women are dying. Men are dying. I mean, crime, I think crime is there. We must make sure we safeguard the lives and the property of the people to the extent that is possible. But crime is in every city, in every village. And secondly, I want to ask you a hypothetical question. When you say Kenyans, you know, I want to ask you a very hypothetical. Once you say Kenyans are losing trust, which Kenyans? In every government, even in the US today, with the Trump administration, there are certain sections of the US who are dissatisfied. So you must. It's better if you use a section of Kenyans, but don't say Kenyans. I was with the president in the north, in 4 counties, in Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo. The suffering that those people were undergoing for 62 years, the discrimination that they were going for 62 years, which other successive governments could not do. He did it in a record 4 days. Okay. That region, people are satisfied. The coast region had perennial, for 62 years, perennial dissatisfaction with all successive governments, mainly on land issues and squatter problem. This president says people, just by saying the people of Kenya will be equal and they will access development equally, and no child in any part of the country will be discriminated. For me, what I pick from outside, majority of Kenyans are satisfied, but you will not miss, even in your own home, you will not miss members of your family who are dissatisfied. So please, let us use the word, certain section of Kenyans are dissatisfied.
Section,
and mainly
majority.
And the ones who are dissatisfied are those who are tribalists. Okay.
We need to...
And you know why? And you know why? Let me say this. Do you know why 2010 Constitution was enacted and why devolution was brought? Because there were certain regions in our country, and I'll give you an example. Before devolution, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, totally combined, were receiving 1 billion through the PC then as a resource from national government for development. Today, they're receiving 30+ billion. They have their own challenges, but the money goes to them. They have the governance structure. Why was people like Honorable Raila Odinga and many people say devolution? And just to finish it, there are certain parts of our country that were marginalized, and there were people who believe in the centralized system of government. Okay. So there are many Kenyans who are satisfied. You know, you said about...
Sorry, we really do have to wind up. I think it's a really big list.
Let me finish.
Everyone crumbling under.
No, but you know, you have to give me my right to reply.
You have your right to reply.
She has asked me a good question about Kenyans not satisfied, and I think going forward, you should say certain sections of Kenyans are not satisfied.
Was it Aden Duale? It never ends. Thank you for joining us today. Asante. Thank you. Aden Duale is the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. He's been our guest for the last 2 hours. We've covered many areas, many more to come, many more conversations to come as we fix this nation one conversation at a time. We thank you for tuning in today. Your world is coming up next. It's 10 a.m. See you tomorrow.